Good morning, this is Coach Steve, and today we're going to do a 9 exercise, 3-round routine. It's all body weight. I will give you some options to put in some weights if you'd like, but it's definitely not necessary. So we'll do a little dynamic warm up in the beginning, a little cool down at the end, and the workout in the middle. As usual, if you have time for 1 round, do that. If you have time for 2, that's fine. If you have time for all 3 rounds, go ahead and do that. If you want to do more, just recycle it to the beginning. All right, let's get our legs a little further in hip distance, and we are going to turn side to side. Nice big circles. Get those ankles involved, get your hips involved, turn your shoulders. Nice and easy. Remember, for this particular routine, make it for what you need it to be. So if you need it to be a HIIT training, you can amp this up. I'll give you options for that. If you need it to be more of a mobility thing, slow it down and make it that for yourself. All right, a little squat with the reach. Each squat, you should be able to get a little bit deeper as your muscles warm up and your joints get a little more pliable. Don't forget to breathe. A couple things you may need today is a mat if you're not in a safe place. And some water is always good. All right, let's come back to center. We're gonna punch across. So punch across your body. We're keeping this slow because we really want to warm up the upper back. Get a little rotation on those legs. Warm up those joints. All right, a couple more here. And rest. Okay. So we're going to get on the ground first today. If you're unable to get onto the ground, then you're going to put your hands on a chair, kind of like so. Let's just go down to the ground first. So we're going to get into this position. So you can get into this position while you're on a chair as well. If you're on a chair, you're just going to dip your elbows back. All right. Another option is to just walk a little bit, a little forward and backward. I'm going to do a rhino. So this is kind of like leveling up from there. It's really works your coordination. So let's, don't forget to start your watch to make sure you record this activity. Almost forgot to do that. There we go. Okay, so we're going to drive our arm up and over, give our body a little bit of rotation each time we reach back. Remember, we're doing each of these exercises for 1 minute. Nice and easy. This really works your shoulders, triceps, coordination. All right, 15 seconds. And rest. All right, we're back up to our feet. So for this next one, we're going to do a side kick. So for this side kick, if you need to hold on to something, go ahead and do that. So what we want to try to do is bring our knee up, kick it out to the side. Knee up, kick it to the side. Go ahead and get started. If you're unable to make that movement, just bring your leg up to the side like that. All right, hold on to something if you need to. Keep it nice and controlled. But if you're able to kick it out, work on that coordination, give yourself a little bounce and a kick. Really working those muscles on the sides of your legs. When you do this, if you're just going up this way, bring that leg down nice and slow so you can work those opposite muscles as they come down. All right, eccentric and concentric. Bring it out. 5 seconds. And rest. All right, our next exercise is going to be a plank. All right, I'm going to make this more of a dynamic plank, but if you need to just get into plank position, that's fine. Wall plank, knee plank, full plank is fine. All right, let's go ahead and get into plank position. And we're going to do plank walkouts. So if you're able to make this a little more dynamic, we're going to come up to a stand, walk your hands out into a plank, and come back up. It's really good work for the core, shoulders, coordination. You can go as fast or as slow as you need to go. All right, we got 15 seconds. And again, use whatever option is going to keep you moving for a minute. And rest. All right, we're up. All right, so this one is a little more complex move. So we're going to get started. We're going to step it out first, okay? So go ahead and start stepping it out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do an X block. Okay, so we're bringing our hands up over our head into a cross arm up at the top, bring it down. So snap it up, bring it down. Snap it up, bring it down. Make it really snappy. Why is this useful? Well, if you're, on your hockey team and somebody comes up with a, overhand clubbing you with the hockey stick, you can snap this move up, block the hockey stick. Or if somebody's coming at you and they're gonna put a chop down on you, snap this bad boy up. All right, 10 seconds. And rest. All right, our next exercise is a single leg deadlift. And we're gonna alternate on this one. Option to hold on to something if you need to. I always have a nice wall next to me just so I don't lose my balance, so I can concentrate on those exercises. So from here, we're bringing our legs back, tilting our body into a T and reaching that leg back. Keep that toe pointing down. If you're up for it, go ahead and reach forward each time. This is a really good exercise for your hamstrings, for your glutes, lower back, and for your balance. Fifteen seconds. This is one that you could actually add some hand weights to if you wanted to. And rest. All right, so our next one, Our next one is actually a really good indication of independence in older age, which is getting up and down off the ground. So we're gonna get on the ground and then get back all the way up. All right, ready and go. This uses tons of muscles, but it's more of a practical exercise. Anytime we get up and down off the ground, those ground to stand movements is going to be a good indication to us that, you know, we got our independence. We're able to do things on our own. And, you know, why is that important? Why are we doing these exercises now and not when we're like 90? Well, we want to make sure that when we're 90, we can still get up and down off the toilet on our own, right? Without assistance. All right, last one of these, and go ahead and stay on the ground. So if we're able to get up and down off the ground now, and we continue to practice that for the next 10, 20, 30 years, then there's a really good chance that we're still going to be able to be independent in our 90s. All right, we're putting our arms out to the side. We're putting our legs up, and we're going to do windshield wipers. So you're going to bring your legs up, bring them down, side to side. You can put your head back, or you can lift it up. If you lift it up, that just engages your core a little bit more. So pretend like your legs are giant windshield wipers. If you need this modified, there's an option of sitting in a chair and extending your legs out straight in front of you. This exercise is really hard to do from a sitting position. All right. All right, 15 seconds. And rest. Whew. All right, we're gonna stay on the ground. You can do this actually from a standing position as well. We're gonna do something called clamshell. So basically it's from here and we're opening it up. So you can go ahead and get started. For those of you that need a little bit more force, take your hand, push on your knee, and give yourself some resistance as you bring your leg up. And then also as you close back in, push down with your hand so your leg still has to resist. All right, that way we're working our piriformis. You know, that muscle goes across your backside. And we're working our TFL, which is on the outside of our leg. And those muscles on the inside of our thigh. All right, we're just gonna keep it on this one side for now. On the next round, we're gonna switch. All right, 15 seconds. And rest. All right, for our ninth exercise, we are going to do a plank to a push-up. So how this may look, all the options. You can go ahead and get started if you're ready to go. Option number one is to do that plank and push-up off of a wall. Perfectly fine. Off of a heavy piece of furniture. You can also do that from your knees. All right, so push it up. Stay in the plank position. Hold it and drop it down. You can also do a full push plank position to do your push-up. So go where you need to go for this exercise. 15 seconds. And rest. All right, excellent job. We have 1 minute in between each round. So grab yourself a drink. It's always good to grab some hydration between sets. Not because you need hydration, but just so you can, you know, slowly hydrate through your day, through, you know, exercise, through other things. So you just make it more of a habit than anything else. Also, you can work on your breathing, bring your heart rate down a little bit, get ready for the next round. And we will get that next round started in 20 seconds. And we're gonna do the crab walk or the rhinos, whatever, or the chair dips, whatever works for you. And we will start in 10. Let's get into position. Round number 2. All right, ready? And go. So remember, you can crab walk, or you can do that more in dynamic movement by doing a rhino. That's what I call them. So it looks like a big rhinoceros horn. For this rhino, it's good to keep this nice and controlled and really concentrate on all those muscles as you go. There's a little bit of space in between the fence behind me, and I can see a whole flock of white ibises behind there. That's kind of cool. All right, 15 seconds. And rest. All right, we're back to our feet. All right, so options for this one is up, snap kick to the side. Other option, go ahead and get started, is bring that leg up to the side and drop it down nice and slow. So I think I'm gonna switch it up this time. I'm gonna bring that down nice and slow. The slower you bring it down, you can really feel those muscles working. I mean, that really concentrates those muscles, really makes them work. We don't usually do that movement, or we're keeping it nice and slow for strength. And again, with an option of holding on to something, it's perfectly fine. All right, 10 seconds. And rest. All right, next we have plank walkouts. So you can go ahead and get started if you know what's going on. For these, we can do it off of a wall like this, where we step it back and step it back in. So if you're unable to get on the ground, that's an option for you. All right, otherwise we're going down, walk it out, into a plank position, and then walk it back up to a stand. You should really feel that in your glutes, in your hamstrings, your lower back. Good to keep your body balanced like that. Ten seconds. All right, we are back up to our feet. So we're doing our step outs with a high block, right? Step outs, high block. try to keep them snappy. The snappier you keep them, the more you're going to get out of this particular exercise, because when you stop like really quickly like that, it requires a lot of, not a lot, but it requires you to use your muscles to stop that momentum. Right, 10 seconds. You got this. And rest. All right, we got our single leg deadlift next. So again, if you need something to balance, then go ahead and get close to something. Chair, solid chair, wall. You can't, go ahead and get started. You can't, there is an option to do a reach in the front. So when you bring your leg back, concentrate on getting both arms forward. It's almost better to do this one barefoot, so you can feel how your weight shifts on your foot side to side. Fifteen seconds. And rest. All right, so our exercise of independence is next, where we're getting up and down off the ground. So try to get up and down as many times as you can. All right, ready? And go. So if you have older adult friends and you're wondering how much, how their level of dependence is, ask them the last time they got up and down off the ground. All right, 15 seconds. And if they can do this, that's great. All right, next we got windshield wipers. So again, if you have trouble manipulating yourself on the ground, go ahead and get your windshield wipers started if you're ready. But you can do this as well off of a chair if you're a little uncomfortable with doing those windshield wipers on the ground. Okay. 20 seconds. And rest. All right, so we're turning over onto our other side. And again, you can do this if you are standing as well. But if we're on the ground, Bring that leg up. You know, you monitor your own pressure coming up and down with your hand. And again, on the last round, we'll do it both ways so it don't get uneven. The slower and the more resistance you give yourself, the better. All right, 15 seconds. Whew, you can really feel that up here. All right, and rest. Okay, our last exercise in this round is our plank to a push-up. So wherever you choose to go for that plank, go ahead and do it. I'm gonna do knee planks this time. Ready, and go. Bring it up, hold it in that plank position. 'Good job, keep it up. Ten seconds. And rest. All right, 1 minute rest in between rounds here. Grab yourself some water. Work on your deep breathing a little bit. Catch your breath, whatever you need to do. Give yourself some gratitude for being here today and allowing yourself time in your schedule to do something for your longevity. So keep that in mind while you are doing this last round. And again, if you only have time for these 2 rounds, then no problem. 2's better than 0. All right, 20 seconds. We'll get our last round started. Then we'll stretch, and that'll be a wrap. All right, let's get into that crab position. Ready? And go. This is another one that doesn't really need to be done very fast. It can be very slow and methodical. Ten seconds. And rest. All right, we're back up to our feet. All right, we're working our legs on this one. So either do the side snap kick or bring those legs out to the side and drop them really slow. Ready? And go. I actually feel like bringing them up straight and bringing them down really slow actually works those muscles a little bit more. But if you're trying to get a HIIT workout in, do the side kicks, do them fast. It's a good balance exercise too. We got 15 seconds. Don't forget to smile. And rest. All right, we got our plank walkouts next. So we got a lot of planky type things in here today. Interesting. All right, we're going down, walk it out, stand it up. This is another one of our ground to stand exercises, and go. And again, you can do this from a wall plank as well. Ten seconds. And rest. All right. Woo. All right, we got our X block next. So we're stepping it out, snapping it up to a high X block. All right, coordination move, muscular move. Ready? And snap it. All right, 15 seconds. And rest. All right, we got our single leg deadlift next. So again, we're hinging at the hips, bringing one leg straight out. If you want to throw a reach into that to make your body into a large T, then go ahead and do that. Ready? And go. Right, 20 seconds. Whew. And rest. Whew. All right, we're getting up and down off the ground. Our longevity exercise. All right, ready? And go. You can go all the way down to your back or your belly, whatever you feel like is most important for you today. You can switch as well. right, 15 seconds. All right, and we're down on the ground. All right, so we got the clamshells next. So we're gonna do 2 rounds of these, one on the right side, one on the left side, or whichever side you don't do the first time. Okay, ready, and go. Again, put that pressure on the outside of your legs so you get more out of this exercise. Nice and slow. All right, 10 seconds. All right, let's transition over to the other side. So a good way to get a good sense of manipulating your body to the right and left. Ready, and go. All right, put that pressure on your leg. All right, 15 seconds. All right, and we're back up. Actually, we're just flipping over, doing a plank to a push-up. All right, it's our last exercise, and we'll stretch it out for today. All right, ready, and go. And again, you can do this off your knees, full plank, or you can do a plank off of a chair or a plank off a wall. Many options today. Keep those elbows close to your body or at 45 degrees away from your body, no more. 15 seconds. And rest. All right, let's come back up to your feet. Up to a stand. If you need to grab a drink, go ahead and grab a drink, and we're going to stretch it out a little bit. So go ahead and get your legs a little wider than hip distance apart. We're going to take one of our arms, reach over our body, and slide that hand down your leg. So really try to keep it on the same plane. Reach over, get a good stretch all the way up your arm. Should see a nice arc between my wrist all the way down to my ankle. Really get a good stretch. All right, bring it up. Let's go down the other side. Nice deep breath. All right, let's put our hands on our hips. We're gonna roll out our hips. So this is similar to a lot of the other things that we did today. We want to keep it nice and slow to provide a good stretch on all those muscles as we rotate around. Appreciate everybody tuning in. All right, switch directions. But even more importantly than that is to go ahead and thank yourself for showing up, for doing these things, keeping your body active. Your 90-year-old self will thank you later. All right. Let's go down into a side lunge position. All right, bring it up. Let's go down the other side. All right, let's go ahead and stand up. Let's roll out our shoulders. And let's roll them the other way. All right, I want to thank you so much for coming today. And again, more importantly, thank yourself for coming today. Use this as fuel to move on in your day. I totally encourage you, as I do every week, to take one of these exercises and incorporate that into your day somewhere, whether it's a push-up on the counter when you're in the kitchen, whether you do a crab walk to the bathroom, get up and down off the ground a couple times just to keep yourself active. Do that for you. All right, thank you so much. You can click the follow button on YouTube and burn along, and you can get this content when it comes out. It's Coach Steve signing out. All right.